All right, we good.
All right, so hopefully you didn't break anything over there.
No, not this time at least.
Man, the other thing I already did hit record, but again, this is so casual. It's like I don't have a name for this. I thought about like why did I call it "What's good with you?" And then every time I start, it's like, "Yo, what's good with you?" I might roll with
Put
that.
some emphasis on it.
Oh man. So, Mag, the first question I got for you, and this is something that I thought about like for the past week because I mean you went there. There's a lot of talk about
Mm.
this. This is kind of where I wanted to start. You went to EVO. How was it? It's real simple.
Um, I enjoyed myself. This is my third Evo so far, so I've only gone
Okay.
since what was that? 2016. I skipped 2017 and 2018, and then this year. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed myself. Um, I mean, have you ever been to Evo before?
No, I am a fraud.
Well, I mean, nothing
Uh,
wrong with that, but
really, I haven't gone because I haven't entered a tournament in God knows how
yeah.
long, right? So all I would go to do is commentate,
Mhm.
and if I don't have a spot, why would I go? Like
Yeah.
I'm over here paying like a good grip of money. Why would I go? Now I'm not gonna front. I'm not gonna front. I didn't want to go this year simply because there was a lot of vendors that I wanted to buy stuff
Yeah.
from. But I was like, do I really want to fly to Vegas for that?
Yeah. I mean, I can see where you're coming from on that. It, but I will say that I think it's one of those tournaments that everybody should go to at least once, as even if it's not for the like I mean, as a competitor, just for the spectator
Right?
aspect of it. Just because, and I mean, it may just be me being like a big nerd about it, but like it's the being able to see all these people in like one area for fighting games, like whether that's like a casual or like hardcore. I guess technically you have to be somewhat hardcore to even want to go to Evo, but seeing all these people kind of sharing the same passion as everybody else is kind of cool, and just the amount, or I guess the amount of people in like all the areas that they come from. There's something kind of unique about that. So if anything, I would say like even if you're not gonna work or enter a tournament, still kind of cool just to take in the atmosphere, I guess.
I get you. I get you. I had to change something real quick. There we go. All right. I think I was getting a little bleed over on my mic, but yeah, you're right. And I'm gonna go at some point in time, but yeah, this year wasn't the year.
Feel you. Definitely be cool to see you out there. Well, I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna make it every year, but I would try to make it the same year you were going for sure.
We'll talk.
Yeah,
How about that? We'll talk. I ain't making promises because I mean I haven't been there yet, but I'll put it on my to do list.
there you go.
So you just did Street Fighter Five there?
Yeah, I was considering doing Sam Show, but
No, you
I,
weren't. No, you weren't. Stop.
I really was, because as simple as that game is, right? I figured, well, you know what? I could show up and maybe I get out of the first round of pools. Who knows? Maybe I get lucky and I get, I make a run. I'm not great at the game, but like it's a very simple game, and it's not like you need to do anything but kind of know a few situations and punishes and have answers for stuff, and then kind of just know how to read people. So I figured I was going to do it, but at the same time, I was really trying to focus on my performance for Street Fighter. So I was like, I'm not going to risk it. It's just going to potentially take time away from that. So
Totally understandable. I still say you were playing Darley and not Genjiro, so you weren't actually trying to do that.
well, hey, the
Not
next
even.
time I start playing that game again, I'm definitely playing Yukio at this point, because yeah, I don't think Darley's got a future right now.
It's looking kind of bleak, man. I actually played. I was playing with Coach yesterday, and we played Earthquake versus Darley. I was playing Earthquake.
Oh no.
That ain't fun for Earthquake. that, yo, everybody told me that character is jump H. Let me tell you what happens when somebody else has a good jump H, man. It ain't fun. It ain't fun. Let's just forget it was a day one earthquake. I was still ready to go to Twitter with angry social media posts.
I feel you.
Oh man, but so since you were only doing Street Fighter, how'd you do? I want to say you got 33rd somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So I tied 33rd, which was the best I've ever done in Evo. I think prior to that, it was somewhere around 200 something. Uh,
Okay.
so best placing so far at Evo. Yeah, and the thing that's
I'm assuming.
oh no, I was just gonna say
I
the
was.
the thing about that too is I felt like I could have even done better than that. I honestly did. So
That's what's up. I was gonna try to ask how did you feel about it, but I mean, clearly
yeah,
good. If that's the best you've done, and you could have did better, or you think you could have did better.
yeah, totally think I could have.
Take any big heads off while you were there?
Um, so I guess the so I wouldn't say there was a bunch of big names, but there were some that were like pretty notable. There was like a pretty strong Japanese Blanca player. I think he was like rank 120 something online. Um,
Good enough that you don't know his name, though, right?
Yushinosuke, I think that was his name. Um, I'm,
I think. All right.
I'm horrible with like pronouncing Japanese names, so I'm gonna say that's how you say it.
I get
I
you.
had a pretty good Laura player from Mexico, El Tigre. Ended up beating Human Bomb, and
Whoa. You be human
yeah,
bomb?
yeah, he was my first match out of round three pool, or when I got to round three pools. So
What is human bomb playing? He don't play Sakura
no,
still,
he
right?
plays Chun Li.
Right. Because every time I see him, I'm like, why the hell are you doing that to yourself?
Well, at least he's not playing soccer. Would you rather him do that to himself?
Isn't that the lesser of two evils at that point?
I don't know, man. It's like when you watch Terrence play Chun Li, and it's like, man, like you really feel like, man, this kid is not as bad as what people make it seem, right?
We say that. And then we see Terrence placing at these majors. It's like, man, imagine if he wasn't
True.
playing
Yeah, if
Chun.
he was playing like Rashid or Akuma or something like that. That's true.
I still put him. I still put him on the Karen train.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
it
yeah.
just makes the most sense.
Yeah, I think so. It's like a pretty you know, pretty good transition, I think.
Or even Colleen, it's about the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Stand here and press the button.
Right.
But all right. So you got 33rd. You took some heads out. Uh, you were in like a team tournament, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I was part of, I guess, Level Up was doing exhibitions with they were doing them in like I guess Hawaii. The Hawaii FGC gets a big suite and they do like a salty sweets and a bunch of exhibitions. So they partnered with Victrix and Level Up, and they had a few exhibitions throughout the weekend. I think Friday was the Street Fighter stuff that I was a part of. I think Saturday was Soul Calibur, I want to say, and then Sunday was another Street Fighter regional exhibition. So, but I was part of the Southwest versus Midwest, and that was Friday night.
Yeah. How does it feel to rep the good old Southwest?
Man, well, at first I don't. So I'm kind of I'm a little confused about it because one, I mean, I guess I'm not confused because this has been an ongoing thing ever since I've been in the FGC. I feel like people associate me with so many different regions. People think I'm from Georgia. People have said I'm from Florida. I've gotten Texas before, and I guess it's just because one of those things where Alabama. I mean, I don't know. There's not very many people from Alabama that travel, and it's not like we have a very well-known tournament scene. So it's
Right.
like, even if we're from Alabama, it's not like I'm out here screaming Alabama every time I get on stage or something, right? So it's like, I guess I get how you would just associate me with whatever stream you see me on. So, it is what it is. And I guess Valle, I don't know if Valle knew I was from Alabama. I didn't meet him. I met him a few times. Like I've met him a couple times at tournaments and like talked to him a little bit. And then
I've only met him once. I'm
oh no,
sorry.
that's fine. It seems like a pretty cool dude. But I met him at um I want to say it was like Combo Breaker last year, and then I had to play him when I was at Texas Showdown, and so I don't know if he just associated me being from Texas that way, but whatever. I mean, we'll take it. You know what I'm saying? As somebody included me in something, so I'm not too upset about that.
The thing I think that was kind of criminal about the tournament, and which is why you probably wound up on Southwest in my mind, there was no like South or like Southeast team, right?
No, nah. And to think about it, I don't even know if we had enough. Well, I guess depending on what you wanted to include in Southeast, there was enough people there, right? You had Terrence, Neon was there. I feel like FGC Jesus was there. Nasi was there. A few other people. Now that I think about it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! What was it? Who was that last person
Oh,
you said?
you heard it. Mr. Ice Effect himself was there.
The Sekiro player?
Yeah, man. I don't even know how he did that weekend, but he definitely seemed like he wasn't too happy with how he played. But to be fair, he admitted he's like, yeah, I haven't been playing, so it's like I kind of just have to deal with it. So
Yeah, he's been pretty off and on. I want to say I saw a tweet like maybe a week and a half before EVO that said he was trying to get back on the grind. And I was like, it's a little bit too late there, man.
It's not how it works, but he said he'll be back. KB said the same thing too, so I'm reserving judgment about that. So.
Well, all right. The difference between Ice Effect and KB at this point is that Ice Effect has a little motivation. Like he just saw Laura get top 8. How far did Idom get?
He got 5th.
5th, all right. Like he can't blame the character.
Yeah. Low tier Laura. That's crazy.
Oh man. Nah, they ain't here. So I still gotta ask you stuff. That's how it always is. It ain't about all these spectators that are chilling over the sides. It's the main event. And so since you over here, since you got called to represent the dirty Southwest, did you even get to play in the exhibition?
Yeah, so they were pretty loose with the rules as far as like how we chose team structure. I mean, all we knew it was like Pokemon style, but it was almost as if they're like, hey, you guys just figure out who you want to send up there. It's not like we need to know team order or something. So I believe one of the guys started out on our team, and then I played.
Wait. Before you start, my bad. Who's on your team? That's a good question.
Oh, yeah, so I guess that'll help too. So Team Southwest was Tommy Two Step. He's a Urian player from Austin. We had I'm trying to remember the names now. Oh, Toy. Toy's from I believe Dallas area. So is Nigel. I think he's from Dallas area as well.
Nigel was the dude that I hate to put it like this. He was the dude that came to mess you up at KIT, right?
Yeah. He also went out to SoCal for some Wednesday Night Fights exhibition because there was something with Esports Arena. If you won tournaments, you got sent out there to do something. He went out there and ran and trained pretty much on SoCal.
Okay.
So yeah, Nigel, Dr. African, who's also from Dallas, I want to say. And then then that'd be me, who's repping good old Alabama.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they gave you a cowboy hat, right?
I mean, that's honorary, right? Like you just have to get one of those if you're part of anything from Texas.
Yeah.
Other than Team Midwest, I guess I should say who's on that. So Team Midwest was Maureen. She's from Minnesota. Pretty well-known streamer and lore player. Mojo, who's probably either the best or second best Mika in the U.S. He's from Minnesota as well. Random High Fives. He's a Geef player from Chicago area. Just a Kid, who is pretty well-known jury from Wisconsin. And Classica. He was on Street Fighter League. He's a Urian and a Birdie player from Chicago.
No, I will say, I understand that you see all these people all the time online, so you know.
Yeah.
It honestly blows my mind that you have a pretty good idea of where they're from, even if you're putting them on a team.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the thing. I keep up with so much Street Fighter stuff, so I kind of remember a lot of names, or at least I try to.
You do pretty well at it. So what happened? Give me the deets.
So they sent Tommy up, and Tommy was able to get a win against Classico. Then they sent Random High Fives up next, who was the Geef player. Tommy ended up losing to him. And then I guess the thought process was I felt pretty comfortable beating everybody on that team with the exception of Mojo. Me and him ended up going back and forth. So it's like, okay, well, we'll send you up. And then ideally, if you can get through the rest of the matchups, the rest of the team ought to be able to, if you don't beat everybody, if you get stuck on Mojo, the rest of the team, we got 3 bodies left to take care of him. So like should be able to do it. So I go up, I end up beating Maureen, I beat Just a Kid. Oh, actually, no, I beat the Geef player first, random high fives. Then I beat Maureen,
Right.
then I beat Just a Kid, and then I lost to Mojo. So then we're up, 4-2 at this point. Then they send Nigel up. He ends up losing to Mojo. And then they send Dr. African up, who's basically the second to last person. So they're going to leave Toy Anchor. And Dr. African does pretty good. I mean, he beats him. Like it was like he was looking on point. And ironically, the next day after that, he ends up playing Fudo in tournament and ends up beating Fudo. Obviously one of the, probably the renowned Mika player, and ends up beating him. So, I don't know if maybe that little bit of practice kind of helped him, be like, all right, I've got a pretty good strategy for this situation. So
We gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. We gonna say the old Midwest talks
there you
about.
go.
Keep it in the states.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it in the states. So this brought up another question in my mind that I didn't even think about with this. So you took, I mean, you played in turn. I don't even need to fluff it. Did you play Birdie?
Yeah, so I played Birdie the entire tournament. Are you talking about in the team tournament or just in bracket?
Well, I'll eventually get to both, but just for right now, the team tournament, you just played Birdie, right? All right. So for the whole weekend, did you play Birdie?
Yeah. No, there's a reason.
All right, well,
there's a reason for that, but
because he's good.
Well, okay, well that's obvious, but but it's also, this has been something I've kind of been thinking about over the past few months. Is one, I feel like I should still be keeping my other characters in shape, but I definitely haven't. And the last time I did pick another character in bracket, so at Combo Breaker, I had to fight Trashbox and Losers Finals in my pool to make it out. And I picked Sim just because I felt pretty comfortable in the matchup. I had played, I want to say me and Tim played a bunch of games. And granted, it's Tim.
I was about to say, how does that mean anything? What does that say?
I mean, as far as like my execution felt on point, my like all my other stuff felt fine. So I felt pretty good about picking him. And when I sat down and played Trash Fox, it was just the biggest wash with him. And it wasn't necessarily because he was doing anything special. It was just like my teleports weren't coming out. I was dropping stuff, and I just didn't like that feeling of like, man, I just gave away a game, like a literal game that like I could have. And I mean, I could have ran the mirror, but it was just like I felt like I was going to be on point, and I just hadn't warmed up with Sim in bracket at all that day. So I knew it was one of those things where it's like, man, if I'm not playing these characters consistently enough and like playing them early on in bracket or picking them in specific matchups, it's not worth me risking it, like risking like early tournament life or even late tournament life, trying this at this point. So I figured like at this point, until like I get back to playing those characters like enough, I'm just gonna like rock out with Birdie for the most part. And I feel like most matchups, I mean, I guess I've gotten to that point with that character. I feel like most matchups, or if not all matchups, I can pretty much win with him. It's just really about how well I'm playing and like how much I'm thinking. Or like if I'm on point and I'm like thinking about everything and like what the opponent's doing, like what's their mindset. I feel like I could play pretty well with them and like even overcome like slightly disadvantaged matchups. So that's kind of why I've been sticking with them lately. Plus, most of the time people hit me up to play. It's usually for Birdie experience. So it's like, I don't, I might as well keep him the sharpest because that's what I feel like people are like one anyway if they hit me up. So,
I mean, nobody's asking for your Blanca, man. No Blanca chat.
Every now and then somebody does, but it's like, man, you could play. So you could definitely play a better Blanca than me. It's like mine is like competent. Like I can still do Blanca stuff, but I'm definitely not the best Blanca.
So if you're mainly playing Birdie, And forgive me if this really just glossed over my head. I was changing another setting. The first half of this might be fucked up, but
I will
I
rock with it.
I forgot that I added a new source on here, so it
Hmm.
didn't have a delay. So I'm gonna have to see how that pans out, but it'll be fine. But Birdie, if you've only been playing Birdie, you think Birdie is all you need to make it to the top of a major, not just a
I really
regional, but
think.
yeah, my
Oh, what
bad.
was the other part of that?
I was gonna say not just like a regional, not just anything local, but like could just a solid birdie win Evo or any major?
I really believe so. Like he's only got a few matchups where I think that he might have slight issues, but they're so rare that you're gonna come across like that you'll come across them like that late into a bracket. It's not really a big issue. Like if you look at the toolkit of the character, like he's like probably one of the most solid characters in Street Fighter Five. Like he has very like long reaching normals. I mean, yes, the thing is like, well, you could just jump it, but like some of his stuff is very hard to whiff punish. And then trying to predict a normal to jump it is just a 50-50 at that point, which is obviously in like his favor because he has super good anti-airs. He's got good anti projectile stuff. He has a command grab, which is always good. Uh, looping pressure as command grab loop in the corner, big damage, and he's got two really good V triggers. So it's like he's never really out of a fight. As long as you, and then the best thing about him is I feel like he also has very strong defense in the context of Street Fighter Five. Um, he doesn't have a three frame, he doesn't have a DP, but he also has one frame armor.
That
So
that sounds better than a DP.
well, like I've the way I've like kind of described it to people, it's like it's almost like a rock paper scissors when you play defense with Birdie. So obviously people want to throw him because throw beats armor, but you could just backdash, right? So then if they try to delay or keep a string tight to beat the backdash, you have armor. So then it's like you have this big, like, well, not big, but you kind of have this back and forth of like, well, how do I think that they're going to interact with this? Or do I want to take a throw right now just to see, just so I can get them to potentially like keep throwing me? So maybe I backdash next time to try and set up the armor next time. So you have like a little bit of a mind game that you can play on defense. So I think that's what helps him be pretty strong. But I mean, yeah, I think he's like a super good character, man. Like he does pretty well against the top tiers. He only has like maybe a few iffy matchups against like maybe like a couple mid tier, low tier characters, but
Like
you know,
I,
your
that
your Ibukis, Akumas that you're gonna run into, your Karens, you could probably beat most of them, even world class players if you're on point with them.
so if he beats those, like what are the mid tiers you're talking about that he has a hard time with?
So I would probably say Falk is a little hard, but
The
it's Falk.
fuck?
So and the only reason I say it's maybe a little bit of a problematic matchup is so her forward fears is a really good poke that controls a lot of space, and it's not very easy to whiff punish or to even make whiff because you don't have the best walk speed, and if you block it without super, you don't really have a punish from max distance. Um, so also Falk's pressure is pretty good against him. Like it's not like he can walk out of a lot of strings. Uh, you know, like she has decent zoning. It's not amazing, but at the same time, like Ford Fierce and Stan Fierce are pretty good against him. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think it's like maybe slightly Falk's favor. I mean, not horrible. Like he can still win it, and then Manat's a little problematic. Um,
That character.
yeah, but you don't. I guess you do see Manat still. I think Sako's still playing her, and then Justin he'll pick her sometimes. But I mean, that's it. But like, you could still beat Manat like in 2 out of 3. That's the other thing. Like in 2 out of 3, even though those are kind of hard matchups, uh, you put it down to a coin flip and you put somebody in a V trigger block situation. Maybe you command grab them one time. Maybe you dash up a new armor the next time in their corner, and they're 2 guesses away from dying. So like you could still do it. It's just not very easy and not very consistent. So whereas other matchups, there's very consistent ways to play a majority of his matchups.
Makes sense. And yeah, when you say it like that, I guess I can see there being a problem, but like, yeah, how often are you gonna see Manat like past the round of pools? How often do you see Falk? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like you're not going to see Falk in like a top 32. So it's like somebody's already eliminated them before that point, and like your Manats, like yeah, you might run into it. It's a possibility, but again, given a 2 out of 3, anything can happen in that situation. So
so here's another thing to think about, and kind of the next place I'm walking. So these two characters, a little bit of a problem to Birdie. How about any of the new three? Have you ha-
uh
have you happened to play them against Birdie yet? Because I know I've been seeing you play like nothing but poison.
um so I haven't played I haven't played Birdie against E Honda or Lucia, but I don't see anything that either of them do that would create a problem for him. Um, so I couldn't see it being any worse than like 5-5, if not his favor.
You don't think you get
And
like touched up by hands?
definitely not. Like I'm even just looking at like E Honda's normals, like they all look fairly easy to whiff punish. He can You can, what was it? I'm trying to remember what you can do against Butt Slam. Butt Slam is a free V Trigger 2 activation, and then I think you can just EX Bullhorn it. Um, Lucia, I mean, her low forward and the I forget the name of the move, the little kick move she has, seems a little bit annoying, but I mean, you could EX Bullhorn that. In neutral, like she's got okay walk speed, but I don't really think she's going to be able to contest Birdie's stand medium punch and stand heavy punch that much. And then so I was playing just before I got on the call. I was playing Neon's Poison because I guess he's playing her a little bit. And I mean, there seems to be some things that she can kind of do in neutral, but like it's kind of a pretty problematic matchup in that like she has no defense and not very good punishes to a lot of the kind of crazy things he can do. So it's kind of like you just kind of throw things at the wall, and eventually something's going to hit, and then she gets in the corner, and then what is she going to do? She's kind of dead. So
How much health does she have? Do you know?
950. So she's 950 sun, 950 health.
Okay. But all right. Well, it sounds like if you only have to worry about some characters that you're not going to see, then yeah, pretty much set.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's probably one of the most solid characters. Like you could, if you needed a tournament character and you need a pretty good matchup spread, he's probably one of the best right now. Unless you're gonna go like Rashid or something like that, but yeah.
Yeah, that's seems like a safer bet. Not gonna front. Mr. Sheed look like he be doing everything for you.
Yeah, he's one of those characters that just imposes his will, whereas like Birdie doesn't. I mean, he can kind of impose his will, but he's just kind of more control, and then he can do a little bit of imposing his will when he needs it.
Oh man. So the other thing I was gonna ask with the new characters though, even though Birdie has a good spread, are you interested in like playing one of them for a tournament just for some other reason? Like, are you interested in playing Poison in tournament just because you like Poison? You said you swear by her, right?
I think she's okay. I don't know if I would ever pick her in bracket. I guess I'm trying to think of a matchup right now. Like so far, I mean, I still have a lot to learn with her, but like as of now, I haven't seen any matchup where it was like, man, I guess I'm having a hard time with Birdie, and I guess I'll try out Poison. I guess right now, the thing I would have in my pocket would be like character unfamiliarity. Nobody knows what any of these new characters do, but um, as far as like having a better matchup than Birdie does, I don't know. Like maybe in theory, Poison might do okay against Manat. So I mean, that's a possibility. Um, Outside of that, I don't know. Maybe she does okay against Falk. I think I've only played like maybe one or two Falks, but that might be the two where if it's like I find something that's like super good where I'm like, oh, okay, well, this just totally makes sense for me to pick this character. I might do that, but yeah, it's probably going to be unlikely unless I'm just trying to go for like a character unfamiliarity pick.
So you're not driven by fanboyism or anything, right?
No, not I hated Poison in Street Fighter 4.
What?
To be fair, yeah, I thought that character was obnoxious. I hated everything about her. But
You say
that's
that
the thing, man.
you say that playing Elena, right?
Well, okay, so there was a little bit. So to be fair, like, see, even with that, like with Elena, there was a little bit of like, man, I thought this character looked sick in Third Strike. I mean, she wasn't good, but I just thought like the whole design of the character was kind of cool, and and I felt like a little bit of that translated over to four, but she definitely was kind of janking that game and a little busted. People thought I just played her because I was like, oh man, that character's top tier. Like I before Ultra even came out, I was committed to playing this character because I was like, man, I've been playing Viper for this long. I might as well try somebody else out just for fun. And that was the only character, only one of the new characters that looked cool to me. So I was just like, oh, we'll see how it goes.
You do remember they put Rolento in that game, right?
Yeah, I didn't care about Relento.
What?
Yeah, I thought he was kind of corny. Maurice was playing he was playing Relento. I think that was gonna be like he was kind of hoping that was gonna be the top tier character that was gonna, uh do whatever work Guy wasn't able to do, but I don't think that panned out. I mean, I guess Relento's good, but he definitely wasn't like busted.
Yeah, because I mean, you got to remember, we're talking about a guy in Maurice who had a pretty sizable anti-air, pretty serviceable anti-air, never wanted to use it. I'm not gonna let him get off of that, man.
Oh, crouch medium punch?
Nah, instant Azuna.
Oh yeah.
Never did it. Always complain about getting jumped on. Like, come on, bro.
Oh man. That's pretty good.
So that kind of leaves me with one more thing. I actually had another topic that we skipped over, but I'll come back to that some other time because that moment's kind of gone. But since we're talking about you playing some birdie and you having your sights set on your tournament mindset, your tournament package, you trying to go any place lately? Like, I know you got this Auburn tournament coming up, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I try to go to a bunch of locals, but like we're talking about like big things or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. Like, what's the next big plan, the next big move for you?
So I'm going to. I guess the next CPT event is ECT. That's in October. Before that, I think there's like a CPT online event, and I'm kind of using both of those as like, how I want to gauge the rest of the. And then there's not too much more time left, but like, so depending on how CPT online and ECT goes, depending on how I place in those two, I may try to put some more effort into trying to go to Canada Cup because then that'll be another CPT event and to potentially qualify for North America Finals. And if I don't go to that, I'll probably try if I do get to those other two tournaments, I might try and go to North America Finals just to qualify there. But if I get watched at both of those and it's just kind of like, I'll see how it goes, and then maybe I'll just go to Capcom Cup just as like a spectator thing, just to have fun. So I think that's like the two things I got set on my sight set on, and then we'll see how it goes from that point.
Side note question: you ever been to Canada?
No, I wanted to go to Canada Cup last year, but I just kind of like BS'd and didn't put any effort into it. Too late, so.
Yeah, I haven't been. I was just kind of curious. Never really crossed my mind to go.
That would be the only reason I would go, I guess. I don't really I can't think of any tourist attractions that I've heard of off the top of my head. I was like, man, that's a good reason to go to Canada.
Me neither. But I think that is all I have for now. Because, yeah, this has been about 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's not that bad.
Not at all. It's longer than I expected, really. Thinking I was aiming for like the 20 ballpark. Which
Fair enough.
I have to thank you for these 35 minutes then.
That's all good, man. I appreciate you hitting me up for this.
No problem. I don't know what to say to that, man. See, this department is like, man, I ain't trying to be formal or anything. Just trying to see what's good with you. Oh, man. Yeah, this is the part where I hit the button again and be like, peace.